Hello, and welcome to another night of high school Star League play. Tonight we have Palo Alto High School against Gunn High School. Palo Alto is going to be on the blue side starting, I believe, and we're going to have Palo Alto or Gunn on the right. First bands out are Swain and Elise. Interesting, Elise is a bit of an interesting band, or, more of a typical band now, and a Diana band coming out as our second from Palo Alto. Gun High School, bringing out the traditional bands now, taking out thrash as well. And I get the feeling that Palo Alto is doing their homework because these are some targeted bands at somebody. More than likely, the Gun High School mid laner. Swain and Diana, not your average bands. And now we see a Jace, which is more traditional, and a TF taken out by Gun High School. So we see most of the power players taken out: Thresh, TF, Jace, and Elise. Does leave open some interesting champions to choose from. We'll see what Palo Alto chooses to take out with their first choice here. Locked, sitting around, now sitting on that Sejuani. Be an interesting choice. Strong jungler, strong team fight potential with that Glacial Prison. Known more as a support kind of jungler rather than an aggressive kind of duelist that we've seen the meta shift to recently. But yeah, Locked is gonna, lock that in. And on the other side, we have Zyra being locked in almost immediately, and Zac being sat on by Silencer. So, an interesting choice for Palo Alto, or no, Gun High School. Getting these mixed up. But Gun High School electing, if this Zac gets locked in, electing to go with some interesting, kind of CC heavy choices to go with their early picks. And so we've seen almost entirely CC choices so far. Zyra, Zac, and Sejuani all having tremendous teamfight potential through their CC AoE ultimates and long-range initiations. And that Zac is going to get locked in for Silencer 7. And now we're going to shift back over to Palo Alto, who are going to sit on a Nami. So we're going to get even more CC coming in here while we wait for Midgie to make his selection. And sitting on an Ezreal, which we've seen pretty consistently through the play, through the last couple games of the HSL. Pretty valued pick by a lot of the teams in the competition. He provides, he's a very safe AD carry, able to quickly enter and exit the team fights and get away from ganks, while also providing a pretty decent damage platform. Mystic shots in the late game can probably, usually end up doing like quite a bit of damage. But Ezreal and Nami are going to be both locked in, and immediately Gun High School is going to sit on Ashe Kennen. So they're really going for a big AoE team fighting comp, and taking that Ashe Zyra bot lane that's been made popular by Cloud9, Sneaky Castro, and Elimination. A great utility bot lane and a lot of initiation. Makes ganks really easy, but that Kennen's locked in, still sitting on that, Balfi's still sitting on Ashe. So we'll have to see how they want to play it. It'd be interesting to see what Palo Alto responds with here, because they're really going to have to make a choice whether they want to go, with a straight 5v5 comp, which they can right here, because Sejuani and Nami provide a great amount of AoE CC with Tidal Wave and Glacial Prison. And that Ashe is locked in. So the last two picks for Palo Alto coming out here. they're going to need their 2 solo laners to go here, and this will be very telling because if one or both of these solo laners end up being more split push oriented, someone like a Vlad or Zed or someone with a nice split pushing potential, they'll kind of tip their hand that they don't want to really engage in a 5v5, but that is not the case as they grab Rumble and Orianna, who are both extremely 5v5 oriented. Rumble with that equalizer, throwing it down in the middle of a large scale fight, and Orianna with command shockwave going to throw down a lot of AoE CC here. And now it's going to turn over to the last pick of Gunn High School. They're going to look for a solo laner and Kennen gives them some flexibility. He can go in the top lane, he can go in the mid. A couple patches ago we saw him consistently in the bottom lane because of his early AD scaling. But that was nerfed away, so I would expect Kennen to go top, but wouldn't be totally surprised to see him go mid. And it looks like Unlocked is going to sit on Rise, who's been that other favored laner to switch between the top and mid lanes. So we'll have to see if that's locked in. That'll be a bit shorter range initiation comparatively than Elastic Slingshot or Enchanted Crystal Arrow or Strangle Thorns, but does provide still more CC. And everyone on Gunn High School right now has a lot of CC and is providing their own CC, which is going to make team fights very interesting, and especially laning compared to a more damage-oriented Palo Alto High School. But as we roll into our countdown towards the game, let's take a moment, and I'll introduce myself. My name is PaxBritannica, and I'm going to be your solo caster tonight, doing a best-of-3 match between Palo Alto High School, who is going to be the blue team for this game, and Gunn High School, who is going to be the purple team this game. So, an interesting kind of comp here from Palo Alto, and I think that first picking Sejuani is a really big statement by Locked, that he wants to, they're not really going for any early game pressure because Sejuani really has a hard time ganking pre-6. It's not impossible, but it's made much easier once her Bola Glacial Prison is made available. But a strong lane choice with Nami Ezreal, Rumble in the top lane or a solo lane, and Orianna giving a solo lane. But not a lot of kill potential in any of those lanes. Rumble the only one taking an offensive summoner, and Nami taking heal, so we'll have to see how that goes. And on the other side with Gunn High School, they have just tremendous amounts of CCs. Zyra with Grasping Roots and Stranglethorn, Zac with Elastic Slingshot, Stretchy Strike, and Let's Bounce, Ashe with Enchanted Crystal Arrow and Volley, Kennen with Slicing Maelstrom, Rise with Runic Prison. So they're going to be looking to just start an engagement by picking someone off, probably more than likely through the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, just getting someone out in front and taking them out pretty quickly, and then wrapping up a team fight, throwing down Stranglethorns and Let's Bounce, and getting the rest of the team CC'd out of the fight as well. And really, it's gonna be unlocked to counter initiate through the Glacial Prison to really throw down that large scale AoE CC and allow his team to initiate first, because if they get initiated on, really it's only going to be the tidal wave from Nami and the equalizer from Rumble that's going to save them and allow them to disengage and find a fight in their favor. And if you really look at both of these teams, both of them have tremendous amounts of initiation, but both really suffer if they get initiated on. So I would expect to see Um, both of these teams, once the laning phase breaks down, probably 15-20 minutes into the game, to just start looking for fights all the time. Any siege becomes a chance for a fight, and really, I think the team that shows the more aggression first is gonna win the game. And as we run down our last couple seconds, take a moment to just look at the differences and any particular summoners that may be of interest, because really the heal from Nami is an interesting choice. Cloud9's elimination has been favoring it as a late game tool that heals the entire team. But we don't see that all too often in competitive play as compared to something like Exhaust. And then Rise taking that teleport, we'll have to be on the lookout for him going in early and looking to make a 3v2 or maybe even a 4v2 situation. But as we load into the game here, we are coming on another important part of the spectacle that is League of Legends, and that is the loading screen skin war. It's very important. It's a very important part of the game, but unfortunately, these teams did not come to play in terms of the skin war. Only Pulsefire Ezreal on Migi is our only skin. That is, I'm not sure whether these teams prepared for this, purchased enough RP, or really had their heads in their game picking champions that they didn't have skins for. It's very disappointing by both sides. We'll have to see how it affects them. I would expect most of Gunn High School to have skin envy once Pulsefire Ezreal levels up to level 16 in his max form. But all joking aside, we should see a really good game, for our first of the best of three. Both these teams pretty evenly matched on all fronts, and especially concerning elo. So we should be getting into the game any second now, though Silencer seems to be having a bit of a hard time loading in. There we go. But just to reiterate one more time, I am PaxBritannica. I'm going to be your solo caster, taking you through this best of three tonight between Palo Alto High School, which is going to be on your blue team, and Gunn High School, which is going to be on the purple side. Hopefully we get loaded in pretty soon as Silencer 7 finally gets himself to that 100% mark, and we should be getting going here pretty darn shortly. Like I said, this is going to be the first of a best of three between these teams. We are in this is taking place in the losers bracket first round, so these teams are fighting to keep their spot in the High School Star League Summer Tournament. Winner will move on to face one of the losers from the second round winners bracket, and the loser will be out of the tournament entirely. So as we get into the game here, there we go. As we get into the game, we see Gunn High School actually going towards the top lane here, maybe going for a Tribush top lane invade.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
While we see the Palo Alto High School kind of doing that line of scrimmage formation that a lot of the LCS teams have been favoring, to you know, just to cover every possible entrance to their jungle and then back off as if they see an invade. But it looks like Unlock's going to lead the way here, and Rumble may be caught out here. He's going to get hit by the Runic Bulwark, the Runic Prism. He's actually going to have to flash out after the Zyra gets the snare down, and an early forced flash there, and quickly Gunn High School is going to have to, they're going to quickly back out of the opposing jungle after throwing down that ward. And looks like Zach's actually going to start his own blue. But a nice play from from Gunn, actually. God, I keep screwing those up. And they sound nothing alike. But nice play from Gunn. They forced an early flash out of Rumble. That'll be down for 5 minutes. So I would expect Zach, once he gets through his 2 buff camps, to head towards the top lane and get an early gank onto Rumble with his limited mobility. Interestingly though, Sejuani's starting... Locked is gonna, on Sejuani, he's gonna start his blue buff, maybe feeling the pressure, not wanting it to have it be stolen away. But regardless, gonna both junglers are actually gonna start their blue buffs, and we'll have to see whether we see any early invades by either one. But I really doubt it. Neither one having a ton of offensive pressure early on in the game. And no real changes to the lanes. Interestingly though, Ryze is going to go top against Rumble, while Kennon's going to go mid against Orianna. But no lane switches by either team. No one really looking for a 2v1 advantage or disadvantage. So Zach is going to pick up his red as Sejuani does the same, and we may be seeing simultaneous ganks on the opposite side of the map if Sejuani does choose to go towards the bot lane. Sitting a little low on health there. But coming up, walking into that ward, going to be spotted out, but Zach is actually making his way to the top lane here, and maybe getting an early gank. Rumble actually still sitting at level 1, just getting to level 2 now, so he's a bit behind. Yeah, 5 CS behind Rumble. Is the elastic slingshot going to come down shortly? He's still waiting in that bush, still waiting on something, but here we go. Slingshot, no, he's actually going to cancel it, and Sejuani is actually simultaneously sitting in the opposite bottom bush, gets spotted out by the Ashe Hawkshot there, so he's going to quickly back off, and but comes back into lane, looking for an early gank here. Zach's still sitting in this top bush, wasting a lot of time with those double buffs, not getting anything done, and Sejuani's doing the same, so they're both going to retreat back into their own jungles. Nothing really coming of these level 3 engages. So right now we've seen both teams be pretty passive in terms of trying to harass the other side. Actually, Ezreal getting a minor CS advantage over Ashe, about 6, and Orianna getting about an 8 CS advantage, accounting for the about 100 gold difference between these teams early on. And Rebel actually going in for a quick trade with Ryze, but getting the worst out of that. He's going to be quickly forced back, and Sejuani now sitting behind Rumble, or Ryze I should say, and coming in for a gank in the top lane here. He may not be in the best position here. Here we go, gap closer in. Ryze can be slowed down with that permafrost. Gonna flash out after rune prisoning Rumble. That was not the slickest of maneuvers, but it got him far enough away that Sejuani's just gonna back in that top bush. Zach actually also goes back to base at the same time. So, in exchange for Rumble's early flash being burnt, Ryze is also going to have his flash burnt. So, you know, pretty even trade there. Rumble going to get his back, obviously, a lot sooner. In the meantime, Zach actually going to slingshot into his Wraith camp and just hang out there, picking up a bit of CS here and there. And Orianna's also going to go back, pick up that Chalice of Harmony and boots, get her and pick up some wards as well, making sure that has the ability to trade with Kennen early on. But nothing really otherwise exciting to talk about here. Nami gets caught out by Stranglethorns there, or Grasping Roots, I should say. And but everyone really seems to be content with passively farming out their lanes right now. You know, we've seen, you know, 1 or 2 jungle ganks here or there, but we haven't seen any kills yet as we passed the 6-minute mark in the game. So Zac heading towards the bot lane here. He's gonna get spotted out by this river ward right here, and Ezreal and Nami probably gonna back off pretty soon here. Sejuani also heading down towards this bot lane to maybe counter any aggression made by Zac. But Ezreal and Nami keeping themselves pretty safe, keeping themselves pretty far back in the lane, so no real chance for Zac to use the elastic slingshot to get into the fight. Ooh. Rumble actually getting that level 6 before Rise, going in on him. Is he going to drop the equalizer? No. He's going to miss those electro harpoons and go right back to farming. Actually didn't drop that much damage on top of Rise. Actually came out a little bit worse for wear there. So as we pass the 7-minute mark, still no real action on the map. We've seen just pretty much some passive farming. Palo Alto High School on the blue side, getting a little bit of a CS advantage in most of the lane matchups. And other than that, we haven't seen anything really crazy come around. Nami getting a little bit of poke there from Volley and Zyra, but nothing too crazy. Once again, Zac heading towards that top lane, maybe seeing if he can get something done, picking up his double golems. Still not level 6, so no Let's Bounce yet. So not as quite the CC force that he can be eventually. Rune Prism comes down, locks up Rumble for a second there, but not enough. Zac actually running through the top part of the lane, seemingly unsure of which way he wants to go. Trying to stay right out of sight, but eventually chooses to walk out and back towards his own red buff to pick that up. In the bot lane, Ezreal, you know, still trading out with Ashe. 64 to 58 is the current score. Neither of them have backed yet, which is an interesting kind of proposition. You know, you want to be... Ooh, a nice arcane shift out, and actually Nami's going to land some aggression on Zyra, who's going to back away with about 300 health. A nice Aquapism there by Nami. But as I was saying, you know, as an AD carry, you want to wait till you have enough for that BF sword, then you probably want to go back and then start building. But both, you know, waiting around, you know, now that they have passed 1900 gold sitting on them. But here we go, Enchanted Crystallator on Nami, forces the flash out. Are we going to see? Nope, Tidal Wave comes out. Actually, Ezreal, Arcane Barrage is actually going to come out and pick up Zyra as the kill right there. So nice counter initiation from Nami after the Enchanted Crystallator. Now we see Sejuani and Orianna sitting in that banana bush towards the Gunn jungle, but nothing really coming of it. They have a ward in the crossroads of this jungle here, but they are not going to see Zac take his blue buff. This is a little interesting why they sent Kennen to the mid lane where Ryze is at the top while they're on the red side. You know, because Kennen and Zac are both, you know, manaless, or you know, they're both manaless. Kennen running on energy, Zac running on health. The blue buff not really going to be handed off to that useful of a target, you know, in terms of utility. Yes, it's very helpful to decrease the cooldowns on people, but not nearly as much as it may help on Ryze. But we may see an invade here as they're Orianna and Sejuani are actually watching Zac do his wraiths, and there may be a jungle clash right here, but Zac has level 6, he's a level up. He's actually an elastic slingshot in. They're going to catch out Sejuani, who are going to go immediately onto Kennen, who activates that slicing maelstrom. Command Shockwave is also dropped. Kennen's going to be to drop the lowest one. Is he going to know? He's going to flash out and keep himself alive. Sejuani drops pretty low, but pretty safe here. Now it's going to be Zac trying to get away, and he's going to elastic slingshot out. True Shot Barrage comes across and doesn't pick up anyone there, a little too far back. But once again, Palo Alto High School getting the better of this trade, forcing out some summoners and not losing anyone. So still 1-0 is the score. 10 10.5 minutes into the game. Pretty slow so far. We haven't seen any fast pushing of towers. We haven't seen any, we've seen that one kill, which was a 2v2 affair in the bot lane. So we haven't seen the junglers make a very big mark on this game yet. But now that Sejuani has reached level 6, has that Glacial Prison, we may see a more active Sejuani coming across the map. But while we're in a little bit of a calm segment, we can talk about the builds. Rumble going for that early Magi's and boots, or Magi's, Haunting guys and boots. Rise looking to stack his tier early, and the beginnings of a Rod of Ages. Zac picking up the pieces to the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, and actually Sejuani picking up an early Ninja Tabby. And that's kind of an interesting choice against a double AP comp in Rise and Kennen, so we'll have to see how that fares. Maybe looking for a tower dive early, and right now Sejuani's sitting in that bot lane. Actually sitting in a bush with a ward in it, so not going to be that effective. Ezreal forgoing the BF sword and picking up that early Manamune, just straight Manamune, not even tier. And forgoing a lot of damage for more utility in later game, trying to hit that late game curve earlier. While Ashe picks up the normal BF sword, but an Avarice blade to go with, so maybe building a static Shiv early. Maybe looking for that early GP10 to get, gain a little bit of extra edge on Ezreal, who is out farming Ashe by 20 at this point. So now we see Sejuani going to be spotted out by this ward right here, going through the mid lane, probably going to be giving over that blue buff to Orianna any time now, while Zac is sitting in that top lane once again, looking to get a gank onto Rumble, but the wave is just pushing too far at this point for it to be really safe. No elastic slingshot thrown down. It looks like Zac's actually going to be pretty fast here, and just wait for Rumble to push the wave back out. In the meantime, Orianna does get that blue buff and walks back in the lane with it. Sejuani coming towards that mid lane, waiting around, just trying to decide what what he wants to do here. Could throw out that Glacial Prison early, gonna walk all the way around and try and take the Wraiths here. And actually looking for that red buff, and then is gonna take it pretty uncontested with Zac sitting in the top lane, waiting patiently for that opportunity to gank. So Sejuani may get away with a little bit of counter jungling here and put Zac a little farther behind, and is actually gonna pick it up. Let's see if it's worth, because here comes the elastic slingshot and the rune prism is going to drop Rumble. He drops the equalizer trying to defend himself, so he's going to flash out. Sejuani's actually showing up to top in here, throws down the glacial prison onto Rise. Actually, Rumble's turning this around. He's actually going to pop Zac's passive, but Rise does the damage and actually picks him up. That's a kill for Gunn High School. They're going to be the first of the game. Orianna actually showing up here, going to drop that command shockwave and also eventually kill Zac here, and going to pick up Rise with the command attack. So a double kill for Orianna there. 2 assists for both Sejuani and Rumble. So what looked like a bad trade there for Palo Alto turned into a 2-for-1 there, and kept and expanded their gold lead out now to about 1,500 gold. So a strong play by Sejuani to counter initiate on Zac, and then a really strong play by OHD Kenny to roam with Orianna to come into the top lane and ensure that they pick up the kills. So we see a bit of aggression coming out of Zyra, but she gets caught in the Aqua Prison, and Tidal Wave comes down. Do they have the damage? Oh! Ezreal actually going to flash Arcane Shift straight into the Strangled Thorns and Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Rise actually teleports down and picks up the kill on Nami. He's actually going to pick up a double kill for himself there. So one double kill begets another as Rise teleports straight from base to the bottom lane to pick up the AD carry and support there. And Zac is going to take over this top lane in the meantime and push onto Rumble. And everyone else on the Gunn High School team is actually going to try and take this dragon. But Orianna throws the ball, command protect onto Sejuani. in the meantime is actually going to give up her life for it, and Sejuani was actually taken out by the dragon without anyone else doing dragon damage to her, and then Sejuani herself is actually going to be taken out by Kennen actually getting that kill. So 2 for 0 in trade there, and Gunn High School going to take out the going to take out the dragon there. And is Kennen going to die? He's going to drop very low. He's going to drop to 14 health, but no, he's not going to die. So double kill begets another double kill for Gunn High School, so they pull out 4 quick kills to turn around the game right there. Swing themselves with the dragon back into that about 1,000 gold lead here, and Zach actually picking up quite a bit of free farm in this top lane, this lane farm that he would otherwise not be able to get. So Rise now finally traveling back to the top lane. A bit of an interesting choice by Orianna and Sejuani to contest that dragon, knowing it was a 4v2 situation, and Rise just flashing over the back of the dragon wall to take her out, and Kennen coming around the side. But now Rumble in this top lane is going to face a 2v1 situation as Zac and Rise start aggressing on him, but Zac actually going back to base, finally picking up that Spirit of the Ancient Golem and Ninja Tabi. And Rise with, starting to get aggressive, throw down that Rune Prism. But Rumble's trying to return the favor, throws down the Flame Spitter, and Orianna's there to back him up. Throws down the Equalizer, trying to slow Rise down. Rise is actually sitting in it, trying to get away here. Command Shockwave's going to hold him in place, and Command Protect's going to make sure that Rumble doesn't go down. So that's a lot of shutdown gold coming down onto Rumble. So right now, 4 to 5 in is the score. Gold about 500 apart in favor of Gunn High School on the red side. Ezreal getting picked up by the Grasping Roots. Aqua Prism misses there. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is still gonna hit, even though the Stranglethorn's still, but it's a 4v2 immediately in the bot lane. Slicing Maelstrom's gonna pick up Ezreal. Now Nami's gonna get picked up. That's gonna go on to Zac, and a very quick rotation from Gunn High School after they see that the mid laner for Palo Alto roams top. They roam bot to pick up another 2 kills, and more than likely going to pick up this tower unless Sejuani gets some help here. And Orianna starting to walk through the jungle here to maybe make a play, but I don't think she's going to be in time as this tower is falling quite quickly, and it is going to fall right now. Yeah, the Glacial Prison is dropped. She's going after Zyra. The ball comes out, protecting Sejuani, lessening the damage, but no one's touching Ashe at this point. Ashe is just getting these free hits. Sejuani's going to go down to Zac on the, wow. The, Ezreal comes across, picks up, does quite a bit of damage to both Zac and Ashe, but now they're actually going to turn it around. The Grasping Roots, snares Orianna in place, going to be taken out by an Ashe basic attack, but in the meantime, Command Attack is going to take out Zac, so another 2-for-1 trade in favor of Gunn High School. Bit of an overcommit from Sejuani there to commit to a dying tower. Ends up getting taken out for it. In the meantime, Kennen's going to take down this mid tower and take the second tower objective for the gain for Gunn High School. 2-0 in towers. But Sejuani choosing to kind of, protect a dying tower, and then went in as soon as it died. Rumble actually trying to continually trade with Rise, and it is not going well for him. Up 8 CS, but continually losing these trades. And Orianna again is taken out, in another one of another roaming situation. Picks up another kill and is 3-2-1 on the match so far. But Kennen sitting at 2-0-1, and Rise sitting at 4-2-1. It'll be interesting to see how things go. Rise already picking up that Rod of Ages, three minutes into it with now four minutes of stacking time on it. The Tier also stacking for him. Grasping Roots trying to come down, trying to grab out Nami. An Aqua Prison comes down, holding Ash in place and discouraging that. And Zyra actually going to get caught out here. There is a Glacial Prison available. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, and oh, a bit of a misplay there as they're not sure where Zyra flashed to. So Locke just blind throws the Glacial Prison, hoping to hit somebody, and throws it in the exact wrong direction. So a nice play from Ash there, giving Zyra enough time to get away with that Enchanted Crystal Arrow hit onto Sejuani. But in the meantime, a 2v1 is going to take out Rumble as a two-man dive by Rise, and Zach is going to kill him pretty quickly. And this will probably translate into the last outer tower of Palo Alto High School going down here. Sejuani roaming towards that top lane in and is the only one looking to try and protect it. As Nami's going to try and get an engage here onto both Ash and Zyra. Tidal Wave comes out, but Stranglethorns also come out. You know, both of these supports, but here comes the teleport from Rise, who's actually not going to pick up Ezreal. That Summoner Heal and Barrier are going to come out to keep him alive, but Nami may pay for this if another Rune Person can come out, but no, the flash out. So Teleport's gonna force out the summoners, all four summoners for Palo Alto High School's, all four summoners for Palo Alto High School's bot lane, but no kills resulting from it. So now we're gonna see another Dragon Dance as Zyra manages to lock up both Nami and Orianna with the grasping roots there, but majority of Gunn actually backing off here, choosing to go back to base and possibly concede this dragon if Palo Alto realizes this. And they're all going to back up. Ash picking up the Infinity Edge and now sitting on a Zeal. Probably going to build into a Shiv with both the Zeal and the Avarice Blade already being built. Rise building into a Negatron, it looks like. And Zach picking up an Aegis. Kennen picking up that early Zanyas to go along with his Sork Shoes and Haunting guys. So I'm wondering who they're actually... Yeah, it looks like they're going to turn this blue over to Rise. Yeah, that's going to be the case. And now we see our full Dragon Dance coming out here. But Nami actually being really late to the party, and I went back late, so it's going to be a 4v5 for a little while. Zyra, ooh, had a good shot to lock up Sejuani there, but doesn't take it. And Kennen now coming around the backside, it looks like, trying to maybe get an engagement with Slicing Maelstrom, but this delay has given Nami enough time to show up. Gunn High School trying to pull this dragon out, but the Glacial Prison goes out, combined with the Equalizer, and here we go. All the ultimates coming out here. Slicing Maelstrom coming down, picking up kills. Rumble is going to pick up a kill here. Zyra actually picked up the dragon. Rise is going to pick up Orianna. Nami's going to pick up Rise. And now it's a 3-for-2 situation in favor of Gunn High School. The flash from Ash is going to pick off Rumble here. And now it's a 4-for-2. And they managed to pick up the dragon. So a really big win for Gunn High School. Going to put them firmly in the driver's seat in this game. About a 5,000 gold advantage. And we really saw the effect of all those AoE ults going off at the same time. The layering of the CC as Strangled Thorns and Slicing Maelstrom and Let's Bounce were all put right over the top of one another.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And really, like, Palo Alto High School was just not able to even, like, fight concurrently. They were just forced to, you know, wait till one AoE CC ends and then deal with another and then deal with another, and that by that point, Ezreal, Orianna, and Sejuani were all dead. But that's what I was expecting to see right when we saw both these T comps come out. Gunn looking for, you know, early and often big 5v5 team fights, and Palo Alto willing to answer in kind, but because of their lackluster laning phase. But as I say that, Rise is actually going to get aggressed done by Sejuani, and Rumble, the Equalizer comes out. Do they have enough damage to kill Rise before he kills one of them? The Glacial Prison comes out, going to lock him up, and that kill is going to go over to Rumble. In the meantime, we see most of the members of both teams actually heading toward this mid lane, a 3v4 right now in favor of Gunn High School. But with Rise dead, gonna have to see whether they want to take a fight or not. Grasping Roots grabbing onto Nami there, holding her in place for a little bit of damage, but nothing much, as Rumble finally looking to try and take down this outer tower here. It's going to be slow goings of it, and it doesn't look like he's going to get it on this wave, but Zach looking like he's going to walk towards the top lane there and try and prevent his tower going down. So 14-8 is the current score, and Zach actually trying to solo Rumble there, and you know, just push him away from the tower. And now I see it's starting to turn into a Baron dance as both teams start converging around the Baron pit. Not sure whether either team at this point is really strong enough to take the Baron without acing the other team. But Ryze going to use that teleport onto the ward. He's going to drop right in. Here we go. Do we see an Enchanted Crystal Arrow? A whiff from Ashe right there. Going to really hurt their initiation. And they're going to back off quite quickly. Strangled Thorns, Grasping Roots being thrown down, deterring Palo Alto from chasing onto any of the Gunn High School members. But Ryze actually tempting fate right here by walking back into the river. And he's going to quickly back off. Cannon's going to look to back. Ooh, Command Shockwave could have put Ryze in a very bad position, but nothing going. And Palo Alto actually stacking up towards the Baron, taking a few hits, not doing any real damage to him. And they're going to stack up into this bush. They're going to come out right now, and Sejuani is going to get that Glacial Prison down on the two members, and Command Shockwave is going to come down. Ashe is really low. She's taken out along with Zyra. Slicing Maelstrom is here, but it's late, and it's not really affecting anyone but Sejuani. Rumble is taken out, but now it's on Ez. Sejuani is eventually taken out by Ryze, and now it's a couple different duels going on as Ryze is getting aggressed on by Ezreal here. He's going to get taken out quite quickly, and now that everything's getting turned on to Zach, he might get away from this. Orianna going to try, and oh, the fail flash there against the wall is going to mean his doom, as Ezreal is actually going to get credit for that one. So really nice team fight for Palo Alto High School, and the big difference there this time was the Glacial Prison and then Command Shockwave both went down and both affected Ashe and did like 75% of her health almost immediately. Ooh, Orianna actually getting hit by that lightning shuriken, but not stopping the back. Bit of a missed opportunity there for Kennen. But with Ashe gone, that's a lot of their damage, and otherwise they're relying on Ryze to be that consistent damage dealer. And at this point, he doesn't quite have the just flat ability power and cooldown reduction to deal the consistent damage a 5v5 team fight requires. In the meantime, Rumble is powerless to stop the encroaching purple caster minions from taking down that top outer tower. But again, we see immediately, once after a 5v5, we see another Baron duel as all 5 members heading towards this Baron. Though Gunn High School actually looking to commit to starting to push down this mid lane and then back off. Both towers in this lane are pushed, so they have nothing to do in that lane right now, so they're just putting some pressure down. Hawkshot goes out to see if they can catch out anyone, but they're looking towards the red buff, and they're moving as 5. But no one really willing to come into that part of the jungle from Palo Alto. And in the meantime, they're going to start pushing towards the Baron, and maybe start it. No, looks like they're going to look for a pick, but the entire Baron area is so well warded by Gunn High School that there's just nowhere for them to hide. And while Gunn is actually doing the dragon, there's a vision ward sitting right here watching them do it. They're going to stack up and trying to get this Baron down as fast as possible. Baron dropping below 33,000 health. Rumble going to get hit by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but he's the only one. Slicing Maelstrom comes in. Is he going to get it? Yes! Kennen actually steals the Baron out from under the entire Palo Alto team with the Slicing Maelstrom. Nami's going to get taken out. Orianna is already dead. And Zach's going to try and get in on Ezreal here under his own tower. Here comes the Elastic Slingshot. Is it going to be enough? No, Sejuani's going to be in the way. And now he's actually getting hurt, taking a bunch of punishment from under this tower. But even if Zach was to die at this point, it's already a win. 2 kills for None and the Baron for Gunn High School. A great play by Cool Guy Pat 2 on Kennen to just jump in there, stun everyone, and deal just enough damage to kill the Baron before Sejuani's smite could be used, which actually looks like it was on cooldown. Or may have been used just a little premature, I'm not sure. But Gunn High School actually backing off, choosing not to try and take down the tower, and instead taking another global objective with the dragon there. Really solidifying their gold lead to over 7,000 now. 18-12 is the current kill ratio, and 4-2 in turrets. And Gunn High School really trying to hold down this lead that they have. Now that they've got the Baron, I would expect them, to start pushing down waves and really trying to make a play for the last 2 inner turrets remaining for Palo Alto High School. Kennen already making some aggressive moves, posturing in this mid lane, starting to force down the waves. And looks like the majority of Gunn High School is actually going to swing towards this top lane, while Rise, who has teleport available, is going to start split pushing the bottom wave. And while Rise with his ultimate is an incredible wave clearer and can just deal with entire waves in seconds, he's the absolute slowest tower pusher in the game, because the fact that he builds mana primarily instead of ability power. But there's a fair amount of ability power on this build, so he shouldn't be too terrible at it. And Gunn High School not really willing to commit to a fight right here, knowing that that's 4v5 and it's going to take a few seconds for Rise to teleport in. They do have this ward in the tri-bush here that they could use, but all 5 members of Palo Alto are in this top lane, trying to commit against the top inner tower from being taken. And in the meantime, Rise is just going to continue his split push. He's already taken the inner bottom tower, and he's continuing to push unimpeded. Finally, Orianna. No, actually, they're actually gonna stay and make sure that they that the Gunn High School team can't take this top inner tower. And right now, it's a bit of it's just pretty much a standoff. And I think the communication is there, as Rise is actually back in the base, pushing on this inhibitor tower. No one has gone back yet. No one's at the platform. All 5 members are still sitting at this top inner turret, unwilling to leave it and lose yet another tower. But I don't think that's the right choice right here, because Rise is going to take this tower pretty soon here. Oh, he leaves it at 105 health as Rumble finally shows up to stop the split push. But here we go, Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out. Glacial Prison is missed. There's nothing there. Kennen is destroyed before Slicing Maelstrom can be used, but Rise actually teleports into the fight, and Rumble isn't there. He's actually trying to run back in. Sejuani's taken out, and Orianna taken out on the very back end of that by Ashe. Grasping Roots manages to lock down Nami and Ezreal, and Nami's taken out on the back end by Volley from Ashe. Ashe trying to back away from this without dying, but it's not successful. Rumble's going to take her out. And now it's a 3v1 situation. Rumble is not quite strong enough to get rid of those last couple hundred health points from each of these 3 members. So a 5-for-2 ace for Gunn High School there. And you gotta say, as much as you don't like being down on a player, that missed ulti from Sejuani was really the turning point in that fight. Not the greatest play there. Lox has been having some issues landing those Sejuani ults on primary targets, and right there, missing the entire contingent of the Gunn team. So a 5-for-2 there, gonna further swing the gold advantage into Gunn's favor. Though for the Sej ult missed there. The Kennen ult, Cool Guy Pat actually being taken out before Slicing Maelstrom can even go off was a big boost for Palo Alto. Unfortunately, they couldn't capitalize on it. But they do lose that tower that they were trying so desperately to defend. and only managing to take the Baron buff away from Kennen and Zyra, I think. Actually, that may have been a 5 for 3. I think Zyra and Ashe both went down. But here we go. Ryze actually getting aggressive on Sejuani in Palo Alto's jungle. As we see, Zach actually trailing his team, trying to convince someone to come take this red buff, but no one's having it. And the remaining 4 members of Gunn High School actually pushing towards the Palo Alto red buff, and maybe looking to steal this away. And we'll see how they transfer it onto, as it's pretty much uncontested, and it looks like they're actually waiting for Ashe to show up. Yeah, they're going to wait for Ashe to show up and take this. And in the meantime, Zach has taken their red buff. So a couple pings from the Gunn High School team going on to that bottom inhibitor tower, and it looks like they're gonna wait for maybe a pick in the jungle here, but Palo Alto having none of it. They're gonna just stay in this mid lane, and nope, Gunn's gonna break for it and just try and do the last bit of damage on this inhibitor tower, run in, do one basic attack right there, and they're going to start wailing on this inhibitor. We're going to see another 5v5 here as Sejuani's coming in from behind. Glacial Prison only locks up Zac, and really early on, Strangled Thorns, Slicing Maelstrom, every ult thrown out. Sejuani's the first to die though. No real damage following that Glacial Prison, really unfortunate there. Rumble's going to be the next to die. And right now it's a 2 for 0 in favor of Gunn High School. Actually, Zyra getting a little too frisky with those turrets and is also going to die. Ashe getting locked up by the Aqua Prison is also going to die. Now it's Ezreal getting aggressed on by Ryze, but Ryze is going to get taken out by Orianna there. So, an interesting fight, and Orianna's not done. She wants more. And but Zac's going to give it to her. Actually jumps in with the elastic slingshot immediately. The hourglass is popped, and Kenneth's going to try and run away here. Slowed down by Command Dissonance, and actually going to be taken out. The kill going over to Nami, so a 4 for 2 in favor of Palo Alto. And managing to defend their base, a much better positioning there by them. Zac getting really greedy here and trying to take out the blue buff. There is a ward on this other side. He's going to get grabbed by the Aqua Prism. He's going to get slowed. He's going to try and run away, but no, he's going to run straight into his passive being popped by Midgey, who's going to take him out. And now that Sejuani's up and returning to the team, they're just going to try and transfer this immediately into a Baron. And with no one really to oppose them, it's certainly not Zac, who's going to be dead for 50 seconds holding that smite. Looks like Palo Alto's going to get a free Baron right here. And, ooh, bit of a miss smite there, a little bit of a slowdown. But they do pick up that Baron, so this should halt the Gunn advance here. They did manage to pick up that inhibitor all the way, during that fight, something we didn't talk about during that fight, but so far, the last couple minutes have been all Palo Alto. They've won the last few fights. They've managed to keep their structures alive for the most part. They lose the inhibitor, but keeping the majority of the rest of their base intact. And starting to see a little bit of a comeback from them, closing the gold gap to under, just about 7,000 now. Really trying to make a game of this. As we see Unlocked pick up his blue buff. And we'll have to see whether, we see another one of these cataclysmic team fights go from either side. As Ryze starts soloing the dragon, there is a ward in this pit, and that's going to see him. And Nami going to try and hit him with the Aqua Prism. Shorts it just a little bit, and actually Tidal Wave is thrown out there. And Sejuani and the rest of Palo Alto are actually going to pick up that dragon. Not sure whether Tidal Wave was really not sure if Tidal Wave was really necessary there to keep Ryze from trying to re-engage. Kennen actually trying to split push the top and has forced the wave all the way to the entrance to the base, but that's quickly going to be cleaned up by the True Shot Barrage. In the meantime, Palo Alto devoting quite a bit of effort to cleaning up their own base and getting a lot of the minions out of it. Sejuani caught in a little bit of an awkward position, walking in that rather unsafe part of the jungle, but nothing's going to come of that. And we see 4 members, with Rise soon to join them, of Gunn High School, pushing down this top wave, looking for an extended siege. Sejuani's sitting right on the other side of that wall, gets seen out by Ward, and now by Hawkshot. But we'll have to see which team really tries to engage first. Ezreal picking up that Banshee's Veil, an interesting choice, really limiting his damage. Has that Last Whisper, has the Muramana and the Iceborne Gauntlet, but that's it for damage so far. No Bloodthirster, no Blade of the Ruined King, but that may be coming shortly. But here we go. Glacial Person comes out, locks up Kennen. Slicing Maelstrom is immediately popped, as is Zania's. And here we go. Zack's on the backside of this team doing left bound. Sejuani's taken out again. And right now it's a 1-for-0. Command Shockwave throws Zack back, but no one else is really affected by it. Zyra and Zack get taken out immediately. And Rise is quick to follow them. And Ashe and Kennen are the only ones alive. Volley actually slowing them down, trying to keep Ezreal away from them. And Command Dissonance trying to close the gap right here. But another good fight for Palo Alto. Ed's actually going to manage to catch up to... No, he's actually going to back away. He's actually going to back away from this. But in the meantime, the Super Minions are just crushing down. Whoop! We missed a kill right there as I watched Rumble casually kill Super Minions. And the True Shepherd is actually going to miss Kennen, who has 48 health left. But because that fight was so extended and took them so long to get back into the base, the Super Minions are just crushing down the base of Palo Alto. They lose one of their Nexus turrets. They lose the majority of the health off this middle inhibitor turret. Though this inhibitor does come back, which is a saving grace for them. But a little bit of a craziness there, a little bit of an over pursuit means they lose some structures. But it's gonna be interesting to see what they try and do with this, because they've won the last 3 fights in a row now. Managing to pick someone off early and usually losing Sejuani first every time. But interesting, this game's been so back and forth, and there's really been no downtime since that kind of passive laning phase for the first 10-12 minutes of the game, that we haven't been able to talk about really item builds at all. Rumble going for a pretty normal build with an Abyssal, a Leandries, and a Rylai's, along with his Sork shoes, and looking like he's going to build a Hourglass now, with that cloth armor probably becoming a Seeker's Arm Guard. As we see the Gunn High School actually setting up for a pick in the Palo Alto jungle, but a ward is going to spot them out. Looks like they're going to back off and try and push down this top wave again. But another ping comes down onto this open inhibitor, so we'll have to see what happens. Ashe looks like she's going to go farm this wave while the rest of them push across the map and see if they could, force some pressure otherwise. But Sejuani picking up the Runic Bulwark and the Spirit of the Ancient Golem and the Warden's Mail. How much gold? Not a lot. Really being that pure tank. Orianna has the Death Cap and the Hourglass. Another Banshee's Veil for her as well, along with the Athenes and the Void Staff. So Orianna at this point is 6 items, and the only person in the game besides Ashe to be 6 items. Though it looks like Ezreal just finished up that Bloodthirster, so he's 6 items as well. Kennen's still waiting on a 5th and 6th item. Gonna build in the Leandries and then waiting on a 6th item. Zack picking up the Bulwark, the Sunfire, Visage, Spirit of the Ancient Golem, and Tabai, so he's waiting on the 6th item. And Rise picking up the Frozen Heart, Rod of Ages, Seraphs, Visage, Sorks, and what will more than likely be an Abyssal with that Negatron Cloak. But now we see another Baron Dance as, we see both teams kind of poking back and forth towards the Gunn side of the jungle. Now with that inhibitor back, Palo Alto doesn't have to worry nearly as much about they're losing the game to minions. But here we go. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, but it hits a Banshee's Veil, so nothing really there. Kennen and Zyra are immediately just Goomba stomped out of existence. Ryze is quick to follow them, and now it's going to be Zac, whose passive is going to get popped right here. And a really quick couple 4 kills here. Ashe is the one to remain alive, and really, you know, what I may have said, you know, I said was maybe not the smartest choice in the world, you know, proves me wrong, is that Banshee's Veil just absorbs the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the initiation from Gunn High School, allows them just to straight win another fight. And now, as 5, they're actually pushing down towards the mid inhibitor. Orianna popping her hourglass. I'm not sure if that was intentional. But it'll be interesting to see here whether Palo Alto try and finish this game right here with 10-second death timer on Zyra. Ashe still alive, you know, trying to poke down as many people as she can, but it looks like Ashe actually giving up Sombrero ultimate there from Orianna, not actually missing the command shockwave, but it doesn't matter as Palo Alto High School comes from behind here to pick up a win. 27-26, a 46-minute victory by Palo Alto. A really fun game to watch. They're really back and forth the whole way, and you know, before 30 minutes, you really thought that ooh boy, you really thought that Gunn High School was really gonna just run away with that immediately.